Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell here, of course. And we are now joined by Andy Jankowiak from, of course, who competed in the Arca Menard Series race on last Saturday at Daytona. How's it going, Andy?
Very good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. You have quite the story, but before we get into that, let's get into Saturday's results. You had a pretty good run, and your car was strong at times. Of course, you acquired that car from the Ken Schrader team from Schrader, and how'd that all work out?
Couldn't have worked out any better. Kenny really worked with me to be able to acquire that car the way that we did. Really worked with me, and it also, the deal was the car would be fully prepped, and he sent his best guy, Mr. Donnie Richardson, there to help us all weekend. That guy, he was a Cup crew chief for like 10 years, and Darrell Waltrip's crew chief. So, just that alone had, just made all the difference in the world, just having a guy like him. And then I almost didn't think we were going to be able to make it work, but it just worked out. It was kind of a long shot thing when I called him. I didn't really know if that conversation, you get used to being disappointed so much in this industry. It's so hard to put something like that together, and there's so many pitfalls and things that can go wrong, and there's so many ends to tie up that you kind of wait for fall through the floor a little bit, so to say, and to have it all work out and come together the way it did, it couldn't have worked out any better.
So, you had a really, really good finish on at the race. Did you think you'd finish where you did?
At the test, no. But when we came back for the race, I knew the first lap in the car that the car was significantly better. And that I have to give credit to Andy Seiss, who worked with me just nonstop. He basically gave me the whole playbook for his 5 years of everything he learned in ARCA. And he said, just go do it. And, I sat over there in the boat shop for probably 3 weeks since the test, just working on stuff and trying to make the car better, massaging stuff. And then my crew chief, Mike Dayton, we actually, one of the things that I did do is I moved the engine ahead, because one of the problems with the cars, we didn't have a good air box. So when I moved the engine ahead, Mike Dayton built a much better air box, and I think that really helped their horsepower production, because the more air obviously you can get into the engine, the more horsepower you're going to make. So that was a huge difference. So there's just a lot of stuff like that just added up, and I didn't really think it was going to make the difference that it made. But I mean, we jumped in that car and ran like 13 laps, and I pulled it on pit road, and TJ Majors said we were number one on the board, which TJ was really cool too, and that was a big help too, just because he got us in the right draft so we could show what the car had. But we took the second half of the practice off, and the only reason that I think they even got past the lap that we ran, just because they started taping up, because if qualifying was to rain out, then it was going to line up by practice speed, and there was a decent chance of rain. So everyone was out there trying to put out a lap, and Gibbs' car didn't get us till right at the very end. So the car had great speed. When I had to miss that wreck off of turn 4 around halfway, I dropped the car off the track onto the apron, and it pushed up the front valence, and it wore off the left side valence, and both those things created a significant amount of drag going down the straightaway. So for the rest of the race, I was okay if I was in a pack, but once I got to 6th, I wasn't tucked right up into the lead pack, so I was actually leading the second pack, and I couldn't get us up there because I wasn't the right car to be leading. But there's no time to switch that stuff around. So we maintained pretty well. The car still had decent speed, but I know I was dragging our pack down just because aerodynamically I wasn't where we were supposed to be. Did a significant amount of damage, nothing that you couldn't go race with, but we had to drop it off the banking pretty hard to get through that, and then we put it down in the grass. So we had to pit and try to get it as straight as we could. But once you were off that left side valence, the cars actually skew to the left. So when they're going down the straightaway, the left side actually hits the air first. So when we wore off the left side valence, what that does is like underneath the door, it allows all the air to come in underneath the car, and then it gets trapped underneath the bumper, and it's just drag. So, and any small difference in those cars, with restrictor plates, I mean, you just fight in the air. So, um, any little bit of drag you add to those things, it's just gonna hurt you.
So I know in the broadcast they talked about this, but the way that you got to ARCA and the way that what you do for your day job, of course, you're a pizza guy.
I am.
One of the local pizza companies in New York.
Yep.
So, and you use the tip money to fund your racing career. What has that been like? Delivering pizzas, and remember, if it isn't 30 minutes, if it's not there in 30 minutes, it's free.
No, not with us. Yeah, I enjoy my job. I love going to work. They treated me well. I've been at the same place on and off, but I've been at the same place for 13 years. They treated me really well, and when I needed to go racing, they're cool with it, and they let me take the time off that I need to go take off. And I don't know any other job that would put up with it. I adjust my hours, so I would work 20 hours in the summer, and in the winter I work like 50 to 60 hours, which is where you typically make more money. Delivering with the snow and all that, more people are going to get deliveries. So seasonally, it works out a lot better, and there's no other you know there's no other job that's going to let me make my own hours in that way. So it's always worked out well. It's always been a job that I enjoy. It's been a job that's been profitable, and I pretty much just put it all into racing. I don't have any fancy vehicles, and I don't spoil myself too much. I just kind of focus on the race cars. I'm single. I have two stepkids from my ex-girlfriend, but that's more just me just trying to help out and kind of be a mentor to them. I don't have any kids, so I don't really have a family, so I can just spend all the money on the race car. So I'm uh, I'm blessed in that way, and that's kind of just the way I've set it up to this point. Just because at this point in my life, that's just what I have wanted to do, and I didn't plan it out all this way. I didn't envision it being this way, but it it just works. It's worked well for a long time, and obviously, once we got the ball rolling on this deal, we had sponsors involved, and obviously, it wasn't all just like my own personal like savings from that. There's a lot of different factors that go into this, and obviously, the last couple of years, we've won some pretty significant races and cars that I own with the Gamblers Classic and the Race of Champions Sportsman event, and they're all high paying races. And it's just if I can go to the racetrack with a midget and spend $1,500 to race and leave with $7,000, that's all just money that can kind of keep accumulating in the bank. So um, I haven't really raced my cars a bunch the past few years because I've been driving for other people, and just kind of been working out the past few years where I was able to sort of accumulate some savings that I was going to parlay into, put a down payment on a house and kind of get myself situated. I wanted to get a house with a garage and kind of, down the road a little bit here, start to set myself up for, a comfortable living situation. And once COVID hit, it just, I was kind of looking at I had my racing budget that I had set aside, and I had my savings set aside that I was going to, start contributing towards a house. And I didn't think we were going to race last year. So in my mind, I had the whole summer just to work and not worry about racing. So I kind of added it up, and I basically told myself if I was ever going to try doing it, this was the time. And I sought out Mr. Schrader, and which I had met him obviously through the Ken Schrader Real Racing Award. It was actually Andy Seiss's idea to call him because he knew he had some cars over there, and I didn't know if it was going to go anywhere. And it just the number that he said was we went back and forth a little bit, and he said a number, and I said a number, and to be perfectly honest, we got to a point where basically I said like I can't go any higher. I don't have any more money, and he actually discounted 5,000 from that just to make sure I'd be okay, and really worked with me. Just super good dude, and he was at the races Saturday, cheering me on and being there and supporting us, and brought his wife Ann, and they let me keep the car there all the way right up to the test, and just couldn't have worked out any better. There's no other way I could have did it without the help of those guys. So it just worked out really well.
So you did tell me that you were the next race for you is in terms of ARCA is at Talladega coming up in a few months.
Yep.
Is there plans to run any other races, and you think you might make an appearance at your home race out in Watkins Glen?
I'd love to. We're getting a buzz from what we did over there in Daytona. So, I'm this industry will let you down a lot if you get too excited. But we're optimistic and we're working on it. And if we can find the right people to get behind us, with a little bit of money, we could do a lot. But we need partners to be able to do that. And so I don't rule anything out. The ARCA stuff with the bodies, they try to keep it where you can run the same car at different places. So definitely like a Michigan or a Charlotte isn't too far out of the wheelhouse. I'm not really sure we're going into a road race type deal or what the rules are. I haven't even looked into it, but I'd love to. But it's seeking out partnerships and trying to put people on the car that can kind of help us pay some of the bills, because that's just, and it's unfortunate that's the way it is, but it's just the way it is. So if we can find some partners and some helpers, we're going to do it. I feel pretty confident that we're going to get enough help to go do Talladega, and a lot of that is similar to Daytona. So financially, it's not as much of it's not as hard financially as trying to switch the car over to go to like a Michigan or a Charlotte. We would need more help to do probably more than Daytona, more than Talladega. So, um, right now we're making sure we find the help we need to go to Talladega, and we're working on that, and we're going to kind of go from there, and we're going to see what doors are open from this past experience this weekend.
All right. Andy Jankowiak, thank you so much for coming on, and best of luck in a few months at Talladega, and let's have you on again sometime.
I'd love to come on. Anytime you want to have me, just let me know. I appreciate you having me.